Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another very important live video update tonight. Now, I know we're all sick to death of hearing about it, but it is vitally important that we get this right. So tonight will be the final updates on the Voice to Parliament referendum, other than, of course, hopefully reporting on a very positive outcome for the no vote on Sunday evening. So first and foremost, I once again just want to share the final thoughts of Jacinta Price, who is, of course, an Indigenous senator in the Northern Territory. So if anybody knows the truth about what this Voice to Parliament referendum is all about, it is obviously going to be her. So this is the latest email that she's sent out. And it says, the media blackout is in force from midnight tonight. This means that in the final days of this campaign, there's no more broadcast TV and radio ads. I know you've been on the sidelines waiting for the right time to get into this fight, but I need you with me right now before it's too late. Even though we can't run ads on TV after midnight, we can still reach people online all the way up to 6 p.m. on Saturday. The fact is that many Australians are only deciding their vote now in the final days, and there's enough of them to swing this. You and I need to make sure that they understand the true costs of the voice. They need to know that the voice will divide this country by race, and ordinary Aussies will have to foot the bill when it comes to a treaty, which means taxpayer-funded compensation for historical wrongs, abolishing Australia Day, and worse. Australians need to see the Fair Australia ads online because we know they are working to change minds. You and I know that it is vital that we defeat the divisive voice, because it's the only way to defend the things that we value, like Australia Day. And if it gets up, they'll come knocking for taxpayer-funded compensation and land back. But your opponents in the Yes campaign are pouring massive corporate dollars into telling voters otherwise. In these final days, we can't let them get away with it. Our national unity is on the line in this referendum. You and I can't let them divide us. So, pretty strong, pretty clear, pretty powerful words from Jacinta Price there. And please, if you do know anyone who might still be, sitting on the fence with regard to their vote, or if you just want to, do your bit to help get the message out there, please make sure that you firstly watch and then forward the last two video updates that we did on this vitally important subject. Again, you'll find them on the videos tab on our Facebook page, or of course on our BitChute channel. Now, both of those videos have already been viewed over 8,000 times each in just about a week or so. So there's lots of really, really detailed information in those videos. And of course, on our last few radio shows, this radio show that we did on Tuesday this week, we really pulled all of it apart. We answered a bunch of listener emails. So if you missed Tuesday night's radio show, please listen to the podcast. We talked all about the referendum writ and we covered everything. So there's plenty of information, but we need to get it out there to the masses. Now, again, if you want to know why this is still so important to do, with just a few days left to go, check out just a couple of the lines here from this latest article. And this came out just yesterday or the day before, I think it says. It's entitled, The Key Areas to Watch as Australia Prepares to Vote on the Voice. It's still days until the historic voice referendum, but stark research indicates exactly how Australia is likely to vote. Here's the result. If you believe the polls, the referendum on a proposed Indigenous voice to Parliament will be overwhelmingly defeated after Australians cast their votes on Saturday. But, there's always a but a fair chunk of people remain undecided, meaning there's ground to be made by either side of the issue. To succeed, a majority of people nationally need to vote yes, as well as a majority of states, meaning at least 4 of the 6. The ACT and Northern Territory count only toward the overall national vote. So where yes is ahead, Roy Morgan's polling indicates voters in Victoria will back the Voice, with more in favour than not in its latest poll. Meanwhile, polling by Resolve, released at the weekend, indicates Tasmania will vote in support of the Voice, with the yes vote on a very healthy 56%. Similarly, every seat in the Australian Capital Territory will vote in favour of the Voice, according to research by UK polling outfit Focal Data. And then the next subheading is states where it could be close. When it comes to states that could be key battlegrounds, your definition of close matters quite a bit. The Resolve poll shows no leading in New South Wales and Victoria on 52% and 54% respectively. No is ahead in South Australia on a 55% the vote. Accounting for a margin of error and a late surge in support for yes from undecided and softer voters, things could tighten between now and Saturday. As mentioned, there remains a fair number of undecided voters, some 17%, according to Roy Morgan. So that is still a lot of people that say they are undecided. So whilst that article is generally quite positive for the no vote, again, this is not a time to be complacent. So please, let's keep spreading the message as far and as wide as we can over the course of the next 48 hours until this is over, once and for all. Now, there is some other positive news that I'd like to share in regards to good old Albanese, and his wonderful Yes campaign. And that's an article detailing why he should not only be worried about the Voice vote, but also what could happen to him after it's been decided. Now, this is quite a long article, so I've just taken the first few key paragraphs, but I do urge you to check out the whole article if you want to learn the full details. But this one's entitled Single Poll Details shows why Anthony Albanese should be worried about what happens after the Voice vote as he rallies support at Uluru. Voters are turning away from Anthony Albanese's Voice proposal out of anger that he's appearing to spend more time promoting the referendum than trying to solve the cost of living crisis, new polling suggests. The Prime Minister has repeatedly assured the public that the cost of living remains the #1 priority for his government. It doesn't really seem so. But Aussies aren't seeing that sentiment reflected in his actions as he travels the nation advocating for an Indigenous voice to Parliament, research suggests. Now, are there groups of Aboriginal people out there in regional areas that absolutely need financial help? Most assuredly. But it's a very, very small number. Are there people out there in the whole of Australia that are struggling financially and need financial assistance right now? Absolutely, and that's the majority. So why is he spending so much time, effort, energy, money, on just pushing for this one tiny minority rather than helping all Australians? And this is something that Aussies are now actually waking up to and starting to call him out on, which is fantastic. As his popularity takes yet another hit in voter satisfaction ratings, polling and modelling conducted by UK firm Focal Data found the cost of living crisis is the second most pressing reason everyday Aussies are saying no to the Voice, because they are already struggling financially, and even the government can't tell anybody with any certainty whatsoever how much extra everyday Aussies are going to have to pay if this Voice to referendum gets through. How much are we going to pay as a result of treaties? How much extra are we going to be paying in reparations? No one can tell us. And this is what Aussies are finally starting to realise, and they're voting no. So that is certainly a very good sign. The UK-based research group forecasts the nation will vote no by 61% to the Yes campaign's 39% at Saturday's referendum, after polling 4,500 Australians and modelling the outcome in every seat. So 61% no, 39% yes is what that poll is claiming. And it's that last line that I want to address. Now, I've said this obviously many times before. I don't have a crystal ball, but it's my personal belief, and it's just a belief. I want to make that clear for everyone. It's my personal belief that if the results are the true polling results, then there should indeed be an overwhelming victory for the no vote. But, and as I said before, there's always a but, Okay, but if the final numbers are not a true reflection of the true votes that are cast by whatever means, and I'm not going to speculate on what that may or may not be, because I mean, look, let's be honest. If Albo gets up on TV on Sunday morning and says, "Oh, hey, look, it was really, really close," but it was 52% yes and 48% no. How is anyone really going to know? Okay, that's the thing that is the biggest challenge at the moment. So I'll say this here and now, and we can check back on this video on Sunday night, and that is this: no one is going to buy that there's an overwhelming yes vote. That's just simply not even on the table. So if they're going to fudge the figures somehow, then they will make it very close. If it's the true results, it should be a very, very overwhelming majority of no. But if we see a very, very close result in favour of yes, that's when we're going to have to start asking questions. That's when we're going to know that something's up, and that's when we're going to have to push for further investigation. So we'll wait and see. Now, in case you're wondering how they could, fudge the figures, or how any of that could possibly happen, I urge you, please make sure that you refer to the recent video update that I did last Thursday, which exposed a post by a member of Parliament with those hashtags of vote early and, most worryingly, vote often. Okay, now I covered this on the video that I did last week. I'm not going to cover it in detail again, but this is the problem: this vote early, vote often, because the AEC have already admitted that if people were to cast multiple votes, okay, they can't remove them. They can't know who did it. Because, of course, all of those ballots are secret. So that is one way that they could potentially do that. Now, again, on that video, I urge you to go and watch it. We did make it very, very clear, okay, that it is a criminal offence, okay, punishable by a significant fine, okay, if anyone does cast multiple votes in either an election or in a referendum. So this is all the material that we covered in that video. So if you've missed that, you want to go and understand it, please watch that video from last Thursday. And just, again, it's just something to be aware of. Now, I guess the one thing that we've got going for us is, of course, that the majority of, yes voters are used to, doing what they're told. So they're not going to hopefully want to, risk a fine. Whereas, of course, the majority of no voters are awake. They know what's going on, and they know that any fines can be very easily challenged. So again, just keep an eye on it, and obviously we'll report back on Sunday evening. Now, speaking of fines, you want to check out the latest insane revenue raising and all the figures that are now coming out from all the automated fine issuing cameras that have been installed around the country recently. Now, we've obviously been reporting on these cameras especially over the last 12 to 18 months, in particular the mobile phone cameras that have been installed all around the place now, and just have a listen to what's going on. So this is entitled, Police Traffic Infringement Data Reveals Worrying Road Safety Trends. The number of drivers detected by police officers to have been using mobile phones while driving has declined, but the introduction of cameras has dramatically increased the number of fines issued. Isn't that convenient? Data released by the Federal Department of Infrastructure shows mobile phone infringements skyrocketed in 2022, with almost 313,000 fines issued by cameras alone, compared to fewer than 50,000 tickets handed out by police nationally over the same period. So 6 times as many fines that police officers, who can actually see and make a logical determination of whether it's appropriate to issue a fine, whether maybe a warning should be issued, they have that discretion. They've only issued 50,000 fines, but cameras which just snap photos and just automatically send fines to everybody willy-nilly, there's been 313,000 fines. What do you know? Besides minor upticks in 2012 and 2017, fines for drivers on their phones had been slowly decreasing since a peak in 2010, when more than 171,000 offences were recorded. In 2019, approximately 97,000 mobile phone fines were issued by police. So that's almost half. Almost half. And as I said, the figures are almost halved by 2022. However, the introduction of mobile phone detection cameras in some jurisdictions since 2020 has meant the total amount of infringements issued, excluding those from police, has increased by 125%. 125% increase in fines issued by cameras. So police are seeing less people doing the wrong thing, but the fully automated revenue raising cameras, which just rake in money automatically day and night, willy-nilly, okay, they've magically seen a significant increase. I mean, isn't that just really convenient for all those government coffers that were handing out money over COVID left, right and centre? What do you know? You're starting to join the dots, people? The most number of speeders were ticketed in 2021, with 4.87 million fines issued to Australian drivers, falling slightly in 2022, with 4.55 million caught over the speed limit, compared to the lowest number recorded in 2010, where just 2.52 million fines were issued. So again, since the introduction of cameras, which just issue a fine to everybody willy-nilly, okay, whether they're working accurately or not, those fines have nearly doubled over the number of speeding fines that were issued before all these cameras were rolled out. Now, here's the other factor to keep in mind, okay? Think about how this relates to you in whatever area you might be watching us from, okay? I'm sure you all know of roads in your particular area where you particularly drive where the speed limits over the past 2 years have been consistently reduced. Areas that were 100 kilometres are now 90 kilometres. Speeds that were used to be 80 kilometres are now 60 kilometres. Roads that used to be 60 kilometres are now 50 kilometres. And that's even after they've completed roadworks and supposedly fixed the roads and made them safer. I know of a number of areas where they've had roadworks. They dropped all the speed limit down to 40 k's an hour for roadwork for months on end. Then the roadworks are finished and they put all the new speed signs after the road's been fixed, and the speed signs were lower than what they were prior when it was all full of potholes. I mean, this is nuts. This is absolutely crazy. Okay? The number of automated fines that are there just to raise revenue has skyrocketed because, of course, there's not enough police out on the streets. And, of course, the police are sick of being glorified revenue-raising collectors for the government. Now, here's where it gets even worse. One statistic that hasn't been increasing is the number of drink drivers involved in fatal accidents, but the news is far from good. Despite the number of road deaths involving drunk drivers falling from the most recent 2008 and 2009 highs, figures have more or less remained consistent since then, with 129 and 152 alcohol-related fatalities recorded nationally each year over the past decade. Of the 1,123 people killed on our roads in 2021, the most recent year of national traffic infringement data, more than 12% were drivers who recorded an illegal blood alcohol concentration. However, the data excluded statistics from Victoria and Western Australia, so the real figure could be even higher than this. So, what do we make of this? Okay? This is what we need to understand, okay? This is irrefutable evidence that the real issue is actually the drink drivers, which, of course, cameras sitting there flashing away day and night can't possibly stop. If this doesn't prove to you that this is all just about blatant revenue raising, okay, I really don't know what will. Okay, the police are issuing less fines, but cameras are issuing more because that's all automated. So again, please, if you haven't yet got this Aussie speeding fines book, make sure you grab a copy, okay? all unjust and unlawful fines can be successfully challenged using that three-step process. I'm going to go through yet another testimonial later tonight. Again, there should be a link in the description of this video for that book. But let's send these Muppets a loud and clear message that the road toll still continues to go up in pretty much every state. So this is not doing anything to solve the road toll, but it's making a hell of a lot of money for the various state governments. Okay, now the final article that I want to cover tonight is the latest blatant censorship by Telstra, who are now deliberately blocking people from seeing news coverage from Rebel News. Now, here's an article if you want to go and read it for yourselves. It's entitled Australian ISP Telstra Blocks Rebel News Coverage of Israel-Hamas War. Telstra faces criticism for censoring Rebel News on-the-ground Middle East coverage. In a stunning move, Australian internet service provider Telstra has blocked its customers from accessing a web page set up by Rebel News aimed at providing on-the-ground reports about the conflict between Hamas terrorists and Israel. Rebel News has registered the domain name thetruthaboutthewar.com, intending to offer a convenient home for readers to access comprehensive reports on the ongoing crisis. The issue arose after journalist Avi Yemeni announced his plans to cover the recent terrorist attacks in Israel. Shortly after, frustrated Telstra users began contacting Rebel News, advising that they were unable to load the web page or were met with a warning stating that the site contained potentially malicious content and could harm their devices. Rebel News rejects the warning, assuring that the site is safe and has been set up to legitimately report on a matter of significant public interest. This incident has sparked outrage among viewers in Australia who expressed their discontent with Telstra's censorship tactics. Telstra has a history of content blocking. In 2019, the company restricted access to various websites following the Christchurch terror attacks. Although Telstra claimed to target platforms associated with the attacks live broadcast, users complained that many unrelated websites were also affected at the time. Telstra, of course, defended its actions, citing extreme circumstances as justification for the content blocks. However, critics argue that such moves compromise freedom of information and expression online, raising concerns about the limitations imposed on digital content accessibility. So, look, I mean, here's the thing. Whether you agree with Avi Yemeni's views or not is irrelevant. The fact is that this is blatant censorship, and we would urge anyone who is with Telstra or uses any Telstra services to please make sure you lodge a formal complaint with them about this. The only way they're going to get the message is if enough people bombard them, and it can be phone calls, it can be letters, it can be emails, but let's get this out. We don't want to start a pattern. I mean, they're going to start with this, and then what else are they going to censor? Now, speaking of censorship, we are hearing from more and more people that our posts and these videos are no longer coming up in their Facebook feeds, and we're hearing that a lot of new people who are coming to Facebook and they're searching for the Know Your Rights group are coming up with a list of all sorts of other Know Your Rights pages that are just basically piggybacking off our popularity. So again, I would ask everyone to please make sure that you share the actual URL link. So that's the www. Right at the top of your browser, and share those actual URLs for our Facebook group and also for our Facebook page as far and as wide as you can, of course, as well as the actual links to these videos, so that people who are just starting to hear about us now can actually find us, because clearly Facebook is making that difficult. And just one more thing quickly before I finish up, I do want to formally announce our special spring promotion. Spring is typically the season for all kinds of different weather. We had 28 degrees here in regional Victoria yesterday. Then it dropped down to a very chilly 12 degrees just today. So it's all over the shop. So to cater for all different types of weather possibilities, for the next 2 weeks, and it is only for 2 weeks, we're actually giving away a free Know Your Rights cap and And so it's both, not one or the other. We're actually giving away a free Know Your Rights cap and a free Know Your Rights beanie with any orders, whatever those orders happen to be, over $100. Okay, so free cap and a free beanie for any orders over $100. Now, if you look online, they're $24.95 each plus postage. So that's over $50 worth of value. So basically, you're getting an extra 50% if you spend anything over $100 on any of our products. Now, that could be our ebook, it could be our home study course, it could be a couple of CDs or DVDs, whatever it is. And yes, to make it fair for everybody, we'll even include the cost of the shipping. So if you get our book and it's $87 and then there's $14.95 shipping, that'll take you over the $100. Okay, so we just want to make sure that everybody who wants to keep their heads protected this spring has the opportunity to do so. So please just select whatever product you are after from our products page. And again, there should be a link going up in the description to this video now. And again, we'll include one of our caps and beanies at no extra charge. Again, it's only for 2 weeks. It has to finish on the 26th of October. All right, so the last thing that I want to do tonight is, of course, remind everybody about our one-off Ultimate Advanced Mastermind Bootcamp. That is, of course, being held in Melbourne on the 18th and 19th of November. Again, you can find out more details about this unique event via the link on our seminar page. And again, there should be a link going up in the description to this video. We've had a couple more bookings this week. So that event is now 45% sold out. So we're getting very close to half full. There's still over a month to go. So again, please don't leave it to the last minute. Jump onto that website now, secure those seats. And please, if you missed it, make sure you scroll down a little bit further on the seminar page and you'll see the video that Daryl, and myself did explaining all the ins and outs of that special boot camp, why it's very, very different to any other events that we run, and all the topics that we're covering, all of that. Now, of course, if you have missed our live events from around the country this year for whatever reason, we would urge you to grab a copy of our home study course. That is a complete recording of one of those 2.5-day live events, the 17 DVDs, the CD with the documents that we use ourselves, the 3 custom-made workbooks with all the spaces to write next to every slide for every presentation, all the notes that you want. You pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home at your own pace. It is a fantastic resource, and of course that's all part of the promo as well. So I am going to finish up tonight, as always, by going through the latest testimonial that we've received from one of our members, and of course some of the latest memes, and all the memes have a theme tonight. They're, given what we're facing this weekend, they're all about trusting the government. So first up, the latest testimonial. This is just a short one here from Joseph. He says, "Dear friend, I'd like to thank you for the Aussie Speeding Fines book and would like to say I've been successful on 4 out of 5 occasions. 3 dismissed before court and most recent one in court. I think they cannot prove off a statutory declaration as a nominated driver, and the book, if you follow the 3-step process, works. A total of 4 demerit points saved and $700. I'm grateful for all your help. Again, thanks, Joseph." So again, as I said to you before, that 3-step process from chapter 3 of that Aussie Speeding Fines book most assuredly does work. These guys have been around for 16 years, have helped thousands and thousands of motorists. And as any long-time viewers will know, I read out testimonials from members, pretty much every week or so. All right, so let's have a look at tonight's memes. Now, this one, of course, is very, very important in relation to this weekend's voting at the referendum. As it says, "Imagine living in a world where every tweet and meme must be fact-checked, but not ballots." As I said, this is our only one concern that we need to be worried about this weekend, is fact-checking those ballot results. Yes, the good old government, always helping people. Always helping people. Now, in case you can't read the small writing there, what it says is, when someone thinks government is helping people, oh, that eagle is carrying that rabbit out of harm's way. Sure it is. Just like the government helps. Yes, a good old Forrest Gump meme. Who doesn't love a good old Forrest Gump meme? The government is like a box of chocolates. But, as I said, there's always a but. Lots of them tonight. But without any actual chocolates in it. And also, the box bombs people and takes your money. I think that pretty much sums up the government, certainly at the moment. Yes, I think a lot of you can probably relate to this. Just a short list on why I don't trust the Australian government. So, yes, and again, please, that is essentially what this comes down to. At the end of the day, this voice to referendum vote on Saturday comes down to this. Do you trust what little the government has told you about what this referendum change will actually mean? If you don't trust them, or if you don't know, then as I've said many times before, please vote no. Now, I'm going to leave you with a funny one. I saw this, one of my friends posted it, and I love it. Had a little chuckle over that. We've been called conspiracy theorists many times, and it says 3 conspiracy theorists walk into a bar. You can't tell me that's just a coincidence. So a little bit of fun there. All right, so I am going to leave things there for tonight. Please get to the polling booths. Please vote no, and encourage everybody else to do the same. In addition to that, of course, please make sure you make use of all the resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. We need this year more than ever before. As always, there's plenty of completely free information on all the websites that we mentioned. There's links in the description. These videos, as I've said, are completely free to watch. You find them on the videos tab on our Facebook page, or of course on our BitChute channel. Just do a search for Know Your Rights Group channel, and all of those videos will come listed up. If you want to listen to our radio shows Tuesday night between 8 and 10 p.m, again, they're completely free to listen to. If you missed the live show and you want to listen to the podcast, you can join up as a podcast member for less than $5 a week. You get the fully edited shows, all the notes for each show, all the articles that we cover in each show, everything is in there. And of course, you get to help and support us a little bit as well, which is always nice. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond all of that, we do, of course, recommend our Know Your Rights book, The Essential Step-by-Step Manual for Understanding and Exercising Your Rights. That Aussie Speeding Fines book that I mentioned just before for challenging any types of unjust and unlawful fines. And of course, that Bank Secrets Reveal book. You know, so many people are struggling financially at the moment with the cost of living crisis, the rate rises, all of that. So please stop throwing good money after bad at these unsecured loans, your credit cards, your personal loans. They can be very quickly and easily just discharged, written off with that 4-step letter process. Again, these guys have been around for 7-8 years helping people do that. So again, you can get these books individually. You can get them as part of the combo pack. And of course, that combo pack does include that free tote bag. But as I said, if you get our combo pack or any of the books or anything else, anything over $100, we are also including the Know Your Rights cap and the Know Your Rights beanie at no extra charge. So just pop your order in and we will make sure they come out to you. And as I mentioned before, of course, don't forget that home study course. It is a really fantastic resource tool, and you will come back to that time and time again. So I will speak to you all on a Sunday night with some hopefully very positive news about the no vote being a historical winner over the weekend. Until then, have a fantastic weekend, everybody, and I'll talk to you all on Sunday night.